What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rant to no hate. I want to salute Natasha Jonas and Mikaela Mayer. It's been a long, long day. And let me break this fight down. I had this fight scored 6-4 for Mikaela Mayer. In fact, when I was watching the fight, I was going back and forth with October Red messaging, and I actually felt like Jonas needed a knockout to win. I felt like I didn't know how the judges were seeing the fight. You never know how they're looking at it. Hometown hero, and if the fight was seen as being close, usually the champion get it. Not every single time, but often. I didn't know how they were looking at the fight. Now, me personally, I thought it was a tough fight and that it was a good fight. I thought Natasha Jonas fought closer. Like she had the right strategy, and well, she got the decision. But I felt like she wasn't doing enough to really just like take control of the fight. I thought Mikaela Mayer fought the wrong strategy. She made the fight harder than it needed to be. Now let me explain. Natasha Jonas stayed on the outside the majority of the fight. She fought on the back foot. She was countering. She was pretty much in counterpunch mode. She countered more than she attacked. Now that's not a problem. But what I was watching, what I felt is that she wasn't doing enough, like I said, to really just take control. When Mikaela Mayer would like step in, she was stepping with the jab. She would step in, jab, right hand. And, or when she would like lunge, Natasha Jonas would slip and then throw her counters. Now, she was missing a lot and she was landing. Mikaela Mayer was missing a lot and she was landing. But when I watched the fact that Natasha Jonas she fought where it just felt like she was fighting for her life every single round. Like she was throwing with like all of her power with every punch. And when you fight like that, what people fail to realize is the fighter themselves fail to realize. Your opponent can telegraph your shots better. Instead of you snapping your shots, letting it flow naturally, sometimes you touch him, then you bang. Not just every punch I'm trying to take your head off. And that's how she was fighting. Now, the reason she's on the back foot, and this is something a lot of people keep saying, I don't know where they get this from. They keep saying she's a devastating puncher. No, she's not a devastating puncher. She throws a hard left hook, but it's not like it's a crushing type blow. If she did, for one, it would defeat the purpose of her fighting on the back foot. What did we just witness a couple of weeks ago with Wilder and Parker? If you're the big puncher, you need to be implementing a different strategy. You should have been putting that pressure, stand behind the jab. This is what Mikaela Mayer also wasn't doing. She did throw the jab, and she threw the jab right hand. She didn't do it consistent enough, and she didn't use the jab as the navigator. I'm going to work off this jab, keep it long. She stood there, came in a straight line. No head movement, no feints, just walking straight in, and she wanted to bang. Now, I believe part of that was because She felt Natasha Jonas' power, and she realized, okay, I can take her shots. But I feel like she just fought the wrong strategy. Now, if Mikaela Mayer would have kept it long, kept on the end of her shots, everything off the jab, work off the jab, constantly pumping that jab out, touch her with that jab, put Natasha Jonas in a position where she is behind on points and she needs a knockout to win. And instead of her doing that and dominating with the jab, look, I'm much taller, have a much longer reach. What's the purpose of having all of that if you're not going to use it? So she fought like she tried to beat Natasha Jonas at the close range fight. And for her to do that, this is when Natasha Jonas needed to capitalize on that. I mean, she did, look, they did the best that they could. It would have, and she got the decision. So, okay. But I felt like when I'm watching, she needed to not just counter when she comes in, but the fact that she stopped jabbing. Okay, stop moving backwards so much. Get on the inside. Counter. Give her shots from the angle. People don't jab. I don't know what it is. The people just don't believe in the jab. She could pop the jab off an angle, get on the inside. That's what you want to happen, and that's where your advantage comes in on the inside. You got the shorter punches, the shorter reach. You want to get close. Mikaela Mayer should have been keeping her on the outside of her long shots. And pretty much letting that jab lead everything and dictate everything, and throw your power shots off of that. One thing about Natasha Jonas that I spoke about earlier was that when she throws her punches, especially that right and that both the right and the left hook, she throws them wide and she throws them super slow because she tried to throw them so hard. And the thing is, they're all arm punches. So even when the punch lands, it might make that thud, but not saying that she doesn't have any power. No, she does have decent power. What I'm saying is, her punches are slow. When she throws her punches and she throws combinations, she's smart for throwing punches in bunches. But the thing was, she was winging out a lot of the shots, and a lot of it wasn't landing because she was reaching. They were arm punches, and Mikaela Mayer could see them coming. And as the fight went on, and you saw fatigue setting in on both fighters, one thing you saw happening was that Mikaela Mayer was throwing shots that was like she was hurting Natasha Jonas in that fight. Natasha Jonas' punches wasn't hurting Mikaela Mayer. So what you saw was her physical size was starting to play a part in the fight. And Natasha Jonas, when she was getting hit, and it was like just noticeable, like she got rocked with several shots in that fight. And she stuck to the plan of getting in, getting out, fighting on the back foot. Mikaela Mayer never got on the back foot. She continued to walk her down. So she's trying to take the fight to her and beat her at close quarters. And a lot of it, it's a lack of discipline with a lot of fighters. They don't know how to stick to a game plan and follow it through. I really don't know what it is with these trainers, man. They get these fighters and they have them and they're fighting all wrong, round after round. And I just feel like if she felt like, okay, Natasha Jonas' punches isn't hurting me, I'm taking those shots, I'm going to continue to walk her down, okay. But the thing was, Natasha Jonas was landing a lot of the shots too because Mikaela Mayer was fighting the wrong fight, fighting at close quarters. I just wish Natasha Jonas was I'm waiting to see if she was going to take advantage of that and start to work the body as well. Mikaela Mayer was landing some nasty body shots too, but work the body, work on the inside, keep her shots short and in the inside, and not coming with the wide shots. And if you're gonna work the inside and sneak a left hook or right hook in there, cool. The problem with Jonas, like I said in the video that I made before the fight, is that she throws repetitive shots. She throws the same shots over and over. And if you can get away from it, make her miss, make her pay, then Mikaela Mayer she was landing these shots, sneaky punches inside, and when she did land the jab right hand, she's pushing Natasha Jonas back. Natasha Jonas, the mistake she was making was going straight back instead of stepping around. And a couple of times I caught her, I realized she was stepping around, but this is where you got to make Mikaela miss and make her pay. It's already a dog fight, right? So, make it ugly. And again, the fact that Mikaela Mayer is not using the jab, not using her long reach, she makes it easier for you to get in. So she's taking that weapon away from herself. It wasn't anything that Jonas was doing. It was just basically Jonas on the back foot and Mikaela Mayer deciding, okay, let me just take the fight to her. You can't worry about trying to satisfy that crowd. You have to worry about getting the win, and that's your focus. Just focus on getting the win. Now, I don't get influenced by the crowd. Jonas is the hometown girl, so of course they applauded her. And, if they felt like she win or if they felt like I don't care if she really won or not, she got the decision. That's all we care about. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel like she won. I thought Mayer won. I wanted Jonas to win. She got the decision, but I don't feel like she really won that fight. Now, that being said, for Mikaela Mayer, she is going to have to learn to use her strengths. I don't know what they're telling her in the corner, what she's doing in her training, where for whatever reason she's just abandoning her jab. And it's not just a Mikaela Mayer thing. Just most of these fighters don't understand the power of their jab. They just don't get it. What she's going to have to learn to fight to her physical strength, her physical gifts, because what she was doing, she's fighting like she's a boxer puncher when she's not. She's a boxer. So, you abandoning your jab, just, even to be a boxer puncher doesn't mean you abandon your jab. You have power. You can box, but you're using your power shots, your firing combinations with power more so than, just working off the jab and moving and staying away. And, you have that edge over the boxer when you have that power where, okay, not only can I box, but I can really hurt you. Mikaela Mayer has good power, but she's not a devastating puncher either, But I feel like she just made that fight harder for herself. And when you are trying to take someone's title, Mikaela Mayer is the type of fighter, she tries to do just enough to win. Now, she completely took that last round, and that sealed it for me, where I had it scored 6-4. I didn't think Natasha Jonas won, but I also typed into October Red, as I'm watching it. I said, I think that, like I said, I told her, I don't know what the judges, how they're scoring it, but, usually the champ gets it. And I also typed in, now in my opinion, I feel like Natasha Jonas might have needed to knock out to win. Some people were saying 7-3. Okay, I added 6-4. But at the end of the day, some people was even saying 8-2. And to me, like, okay, now you're like stretching, you're reaching for it. We're just reaching for Mayer at that point. I definitely didn't see 8-2. I didn't even have it 7-3. I had it 6-4. Now, don't get me wrong. Both females fought hard. And what Natasha Jonas was doing well is when Mikaela Mayer would get something off, she would come back and get hers off. But I felt like Mikaela was landing the bigger shots, the more telling shots. She was forcing Jonas backwards. Jonas was going back on her own, but she's being forced on her own. When she was going on the rope, she was taking shots. And I'm saying she needed to get off of these ropes. She wasn't, it wasn't helping her case to get hit like that on the ropes, and she was getting hit to the body. They were mixing these shots up. It was a solid fight. It just wasn't the most tactical fight on Mayer's part. And also for Jonas, I just felt like I felt like she should have been it would have helped her out to do more. Because I really don't think she won that fight. I really felt like, I don't, like I said, I don't know what the judges are thinking, but on my judgment, I felt like she lost, even though I wanted her to win. But it's all water under the bridge now. But I think that for Jonas, she said that, this is her last year of boxing, so she want to go out on top, want to go out with a bang, and, pretty much she gave Mikaela Mayer props and told her to, don't give up, pretty much go after, titles and, keep her head up type of thing, like that uplifting type of speech. But Mikaela Mayer, she don't really want to hear that shit. What she want to hear is you say, I think, definitely this fight, we should have a rematch. I don't think Jonas really wants to do that. So whatever her exit strategy is will be her exit strategy. There'll be somebody else that she can find to fight, for her last fight, or how many times she planned on fighting this year. But I don't think, just based on her words alone, you know, she doesn't have any plans on having a rematch with Mikaela Mayer. Plus, the rematch clause is only stipulated for her if she was to lose, not both ways. And for that reason, even that alone, Mikaela Mayer need to understand that should be extra incentive for you to, whatever it is you need to do to prepare better. However, whatever, she does in training, she needs to understand she has to be more dominant. When you look at people like Hearns, Larry Holmes, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, people that work off of their jabs, that's when they were most effective, when they had a good jab and they used it consistently, popping that jab out consistently, not just throw it here and there and then let me jump in and decide to just abandon it and let me make the fight harder for myself. Let me get in here and bang so I can make these fans ooh and ah. Listen, let me explain something to you guys. When you're trying to take someone's title and you're doing just enough to win, you're fortunate if you get the decision, simply because a lot of times it'll turn out, well, you didn't really prove that you can beat that, you didn't really dominate. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think you should have to dominate in order to take the champ's title. Okay, that's just unfair, because if a fighter is just as talented as you, I mean, now it's like, well, you have to do more than the champion to take it. No, I feel like, well, yeah, you do have to do more, but I mean, it's kind of a touchy situation, simply because, like, for example, if you look at the Baumgartner fight. Now, me personally, I thought that Baumgartner edged the fight out. I didn't feel like she dog walked her or dominated. Neither one of them dominated. I don't feel like Baumgartner or Mikaela Mayer really turned up to try to really close the show strongly. They both played it safe, and they both just did enough to win type of, that was their approach. And Alicia Baumgartner got the decision. And like I said, even the rounds that I thought she won, that the 2 rounds that I gave to her, that's how I had it. I had it 6-4 for Baumgartner. But like I said, she edged those rounds out. So in a sense where people could have said, well, she didn't dominate, this is what I mean. Because you can have another fighter where, like tonight, for example, I felt like Mikaela Mayer did more than Natasha Jonas did, where I felt like it was noticeable that she won, but the judges didn't think so, and that's the way it is. Now, for Natasha Jonas, the fact that she don't plan on sticking around too much longer, well, Mikaela Mayer may find herself in a situation where she, if she refocus, don't worry about making a bunch of noise. I mean, she and Natasha Jonas don't have any heat with each other. What Mikaela Mayer needs to do is, for one, she need to forget about, going back and forth with Alicia Baumgartner, which I'm gonna, I have a video coming about that one, so I'm not gonna get too much into that right now. But she need to refocus and pretty much, if she's gonna stay at 147, just stay active. But she need to put that work in the gym to where she understands she needs to be the type of fighter where I'm a boxer, right? Let me outbox. That's what boxers' game plan is. That's what their mindset is. Let me win every round. I'm not coming out here thinking knockout first as a boxer. Boxers are not coming here thinking about knockout first. They're coming here thinking about winning rounds. Chop you down, break you down. If the knockout comes, then cool. But they're coming in there to do a job, to win. Mikaela Mayer is coming in here with the mindset of a puncher. And for one, her punch output is not enough to win it. For that type of style, she was missing a lot of punches too. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like Mikaela Mayer was dominant like everybody else is saying. Like she just won every round. And no. But I had it 6-4. And I just feel like her fighting the way she did, she got to blame herself. And I have to say it that way because look at how she complained about the Baumgartner loss. Now in the last round in this fight, they both were exhausted, but she definitely took that last round. And again, it's not just the last round, but from the first to the last, she pretty much she got away from using that jab, using her reach, and, putting Natasha Jonas in an uncomfortable position of feeling like she has to come from behind to win. She basically was just, okay, instead of let me use my long reach, let me go in here and bang with her. Instead of her using her smarts, she always talks about how, technical she is. But it's like, okay, if you take pride in being a technical boxer, then you need to understand, apply these things. You put Natasha Jonas on the back foot. She's already on the back foot of her own. You back her into the ropes. You're doing all these things. You're getting at close quarters, but you're getting hit. She's getting hit, and you want to be the one to be landing the most pinpoint shots. You want to be the one getting your shots in there where, and she was landing the blows that was hurting Natasha Jonas. So, but what I'm saying is, you putting that jab out there. She bruised her face up pretty good, but that jab, next thing you know, somebody's cut over the eyelid. The eyes are starting to swell. The nose is busted up. The lips are busted up. The face is bruised up. They're getting desperate. They start lunging in. They start coming in trying to go for the knockout because they have no choice. And this is what you expect to see these long, rangy fighters do. But for some reason, they're just coming in here, they're abandoning their jab, and they're trying to make it a dogfight. And, like someone was making a comparison, like I made a video a couple of weeks ago where I was talking about Layla Ali versus Christy Martin, where I was narrating, D. Yamaguchi's video. And like I said, the reason that Layla went after Christy Martin, you gotta understand, Christy Martin was coming up from 140, 147 or whatever to come up to 160 to fight Layla. And basically, Layla went in there and Layla said, okay, I'm going to test the waters and see. And Christy couldn't hurt her. And she basically beat her and pounced on her. And Layla was a very busy, active fighter that threw a lot of punches. And she beat her up really bad and knocked her down, and everything in the fight was stopped in the 5th round. She stopped in round 5. So, this wasn't the same situation. They would have been the same weight, same thing would have happened. Just the skill level was different. But at the end of the day, Mikaela Mayer was the one coming up to 147. But you could still see her physical size, even like her body. Like she's just a bigger person than Natasha Jonas. She just was fighting at a smaller weight. But, the focus is more on Mikaela Mayer just for the simple fact that she's sticking around, whereas Jonas is retiring. Like she said, this is going to be her last year fighting. So after 2024, she's out. And like I said, you can hear, like, look, if she had any intentions on giving Mikaela Mayer a rematch, she would have flat out just said, "We're definitely going to do it again." She don't want to do it again. She wants to go on and do whatever else she has to do. The stipulation, the contract says she doesn't have to, so nobody can really say anything. You might not like the decision, but it is what it is. So, for Mikaela Mayer, as I was saying earlier, she could think, man, you know what, I got to really go out here and win every round. I will come out here and the bottom line, I need to be sharp and be on my A game, and hey, and to clear something up, people were saying every time she comes to the UK, she loses. Not true. I think this is her fourth fight in the UK that I remember. She won two, she lost to Baumgartner, and then she lost this one. Okay, you gotta remember, Baumgartner's not from the UK, and the other two females she fought and beat wasn't from the UK either. So this is out of the four fights, this is the first Brit that she fought over in the UK. So that has nothing to do with it. And if you listen to Mikaela Mayer, they like her over there. They was cheering her, even though when she was saying she thinks she won the fight and everything, they was cheering her. Now, when Alicia Baumgartner was saying that she beat Mikaela Mayer, she was getting booed for everything she was saying. Clarissa Shields was getting booed for everything she was saying until after the fight, simply because there was no denying the ass whooping that she put on Savannah Marshall. The way Clarissa dominated Savannah Marshall, that's the mindset Mikaela Mayer have to have, is every round from the first to the last, I'm here to not let you win this fight. I'm going to outbox you, and that's what Mikaela Mayer has to do. She has to stop going into these fights trying to be some big puncher, trying to be this knockout artist, because that's not what she is. So, the fact that she went and fought Natasha Jonas in that style is what I'm saying. She got to blame herself, simply because you're not fighting smart. So when I was watching this fight, this is why I had mixed emotions about, well, not emotions, but mixed thoughts on how the fight might be going. Because if the fighters are looking on one hand to say, okay, she need to be staying long, they're not just scoring the punches. They have a thinking process about the way fights are going as well. So she should be keeping it long. Okay, but she's coming in and she's giving Natasha Jonas better chances to marshal her efforts to go forward and get these shots in when she want to go forward. Because that's what and that's where, when Jonas was throwing her punches and bunches, even though she wasn't landing everything, Mikaela wasn't landing everything either, but Mikaela was hurting her. And I feel like Mikaela definitely got to her more than she got to, than the other way around. But, when you're looking at it, and so when she comes in and she gets hit, those punches that she was getting hit with wasn't doing anything to her, though. You could see when Jonas was getting hit, she was getting hurt. And in the last round, she was holding on and was exhausted, and they both were exhausted, but Mikaela was pushing herself more. So she did try to close the show. I give her that. But she has to understand, as a boxer, man, you coming in from the very first round. The whole point. You see how Devin Haney fought Regis Prograis. This is what I'm saying. So you don't have to go in there trying to wow the crowd. And you can't, because what happens is this. Let's say she fights again against whoever. And it comes to another decision where it was close, but she don't get it. And it's the same thing where she's just not fighting the right strategy within the fight. And I feel the need to make this known, just for the simple fact that every time I've seen Mikaela Mayer fight, she fights the same way, where she tries to be this big puncher. And you got to understand, especially if you don't get the knockout, when they're bringing the fight back to you and you're getting cracked, especially when people expect you to win, because you got to understand, I don't know what the betting odds were or whatever between the two of them, but most people thought Mikaela Mayer was going to win. And they were saying that she was going to fight the way that I explained. Keep it long, Jonas is going to have a problem with her reach. Jonas is not going to be able to get in. People hear all these things, judges included, and we don't know exactly what they get inspired by as well. But they hear these type of things. The crowd is cheering over every punch Jonas throws, and they hearing things like this, and all of a sudden it's like, well, damn, okay, she's able to get to her more than we thought. So a lot of times, even the intrigue is like, wow, okay, I didn't think she's going to be able to land, this many, clean punches on Mikaela Mayer. So even though Mikaela's throwing back, and she's landing also, now with that right there alone, a lot of times, it's different little intangibles that they attach to the fight. Now, if you listen to the commentating team, as usual, it's nothing new. Seriously, let's be real. They're always biased towards the hometown or the person that's their countryman. They always do that. Because, the way they made the fight sound was like Jonas was dominating, and that certainly wasn't the case. And it's just like if you go back now, if you watch the fight with Jonas and then you go back and watch the Baumgartner fight, and I bet you'll go, people don't want to admit the truth, but you'll see like, no, this fight was different. And you look at the performance, it's similar on Mikaela Mayer's behalf, where she did the same thing, where she just not from round one, the filling out process with her, what she needs to understand, she tries to test you to see what you can take. She want to see, is instead of more like, even to say, well, when the fight is filling you out, to see what you react to and how you react. For Mikaela Mayer, she need to come out. Let me pop this jab out from round one. Let me see how they react to this jab. Let's see how this fighter, if they're able to get past my reach, get under the jab, get right. She just doesn't have that mindset or that type of discipline. She fights the same way, and the point is, if you don't get the knockout and you find yourself in a dogfight, the problem is we're watching you get hit. We're watching you abandon what you shouldn't abandon. And, things like that come into play where, especially when you're fighting in someone else's hometown. Now, Baumgartner's not from the UK. In fact, the fans clearly wanted Mayer to win. But she got, Baumgartner got the decision. That's one of those fights I wish I could sit down and just narrate and watch it with you guys and just break down and point out certain things. And it's not to change anybody's mind. It's just to point out things that I know people overlook, and this is why I don't hear them saying these things in comment sections or in conversations, because it's things they don't see that they're overlooking. And when you look at Baumgartner's style and you compare what she was doing, she was landing clean shots, get in, get out, move, but she wasn't dancing around as much as she was. But when she was exchanging, she was making Mikaela Mayer miss, and she would crack her with a good one. You understand? And then when Mikaela Mayer was landing her shots, it wasn't as telling as Baumgartner's blows was. But, basically, they were landing shots. It was going back and forth. And it just went the way it went. So, that would be another reason you think Mikaela Mayer would understand. I don't know what her corner, a team talks about when they're in training camp and what they're looking for, but they need to let her know she needs to stay behind her jab and make this fight where I'm going to take it round by round. I'm not coming in here to try to, make it easier for you, which is what you're doing. What you tell the longer fighter, keep your opponent on the end of your jab. You take your jab away, okay, now the shorter fighter doesn't have to fight as hard to get in. You're making it easy. Oh, you want to engage? Let's go. And I feel like Jonas didn't capitalize on that the way I felt like, the way I would have liked to see her do it to secure the win, but she got the win. And, my point is, when you win a fight and you win it decisively, doesn't matter if the fans don't like it, as long as the reality is you actually won. I don't get influenced by boos and cheers because, come on, let's be real. you're going to cheer for the hometown person unless you just, unless it's Floyd Mayweather, somebody like that, somebody that people just hate or whatever, But at the end of the day, yeah, Mayer's going to have to step it up, man. She's going to have to learn to keep sharp. For Jonas, she needs to tighten up on her defense as well. Mikaela Mayer needs to tighten up on her defense as well, because she was getting hit. Like I said, they both was getting hit. But, Jonas with those wide swinging shots that she throws, you could telegraph it and you could easily counter that. And for Mikaela Mayer, she needs to use more head movement. Keep her head off that damn center line. She's always in that center line. She's just walking straight in. No feints, no nothing. Just walking straight in. Like let's brawl. She's not built like that. But I'm telling you, she did it. I can't say for every reason that she did it, but I'm telling you, she didn't respect Jonas' power. She wasn't worried about her. She wasn't fazed by her power. And then she didn't fight in the best way that she should have to secure the win. So if she goes into the next fight and do the same thing, is my point. She might get the same result. You can't blame anybody but her. Why? Because she knows when you're in that gym, you have to give it your all. You got to leave it all in the gym. You don't bring it home with you. You leave it all there. You bring the knowledge back, and your conditioning is improving and things of that nature. I don't know. She need to do more strength and conditioning training, or whatever. Something. And this is part of the reason why when people are talking about going 12 rounds for the females, 3 minutes per round, they were exhausted. And you may think, oh, well, they trained for 12 rounds if they was going 12 rounds in 3 minutes per round. Yeah, it's easy to say that. But the body has to be trained to do that as well. Because when you fatigue start to set in, or a lot of fighters, think about it. You see a lot of fighters, they get, like we say, once they get past 6 rounds, then they're finished, or they slow down considerably, things of that nature. The body don't just react just because you wanted to, like, oh, okay, I'm going 12 rounds now. Look at how exhausted they both were at 10. You know what I mean? So, you need to get your conditioning up where, for one, when you have these type of dog fights, you can easily empty your tank too soon because you're too overzealous to get a knockout. So now going into a 12-round fight, it's not as simple as people think when your body's not used to doing it. And no longer 2 minutes around with 3. Now, not saying that it can't be done because we just seen the man of Serrano do it. But I'm saying that doesn't mean that Mikaela Mayer is ready for that, and a whole lot of other fighters. So the females, especially who's not used to doing that, I don't think nobody really want to see 12 rounds of 2 fighters that are both like extremely exhausted in the 10th already. So now we talking 2 extra rounds where your body's just not used to doing it. Like I said, of course, it's not like there's no females that can't do it. Like I said, we just seen it happen, but just in general. So I think, and for what the females are doing right now, you think that they would think, what, even though we're going 10 rounds, let's train for 15 rounds. That's the old school mentality. Yeah, let's train for 15 rounds. Let's train for 12 at least if we're going 10. This way, when the time comes, the adjustment that you have to make is just mental. And it's like the conditioning is there, no problem. Okay, we got this. Let's make it happen. And that's why you hear people saying they don't really want to see a 12-round female fight. Now, that being said, for Mikaela Mayer, she needs to be motivated in a different way. She needs to be in a position where they're pushing her to get all that they can get out of her, to get her conditioning up, and basically her technique. She has to change that. Because at some point, people going to get tired of, oh, I really won the fight, but I got robbed. I really won the fight, but I got robbed. They're going to get tired of that. And these fans will turn on you. They definitely will turn on you. And I just think that with her losing 2 fights that in her mind she feel like she won, I thought, like I said, I thought Baumgartner edged it, but I thought that she beat. I thought she beat Jonas definitely like more decisively. I felt like in the Baumgartner fight that Baumgartner edged it, and so this is a fight that I feel like she would think, okay, I've been in this position before. Okay, and she was the champ. So think about it. She was the champ. So she felt like Alicia didn't do enough to beat her. She should have went in this fight thinking, okay, I'm coming for Jonas' belt. And I feel like what I needed to do is just be more dominant. And I'm telling you, with her height difference and her reach, Jonas would have had an uphill battle trying to get past that reach. And her trying to get past that reach, she's more vulnerable to run into something because I need to get close. I need to get in. This woman is outboxing me from the outside. And I doubt that her corner would have told her, just keep doing what you're doing if she was losing round after round. Jonas, so the concerns that you have as a fighter, I know one round Jonas was asking like how do you have the fight score, like she wanted to know what her corner thought. So just saying, I feel like both of them, I felt like Jonas fought the right strategy, but I thought that I felt like she should have did more, especially on the inside and working the body. She did some nice body shots, and Mikaela threw some nice body shots. They both had success at what they was doing, but I feel like Jonas, just could have been more willing to get on the inside and taking advantage of the fact that Mikaela Mayer was making it easier for her to get on the inside because she abandoned the jab and wanted to brawl. And I felt like for Mikaela Mayer, she should have, stuck to a more technical game plan, keeping her on the end, making her running the big shots, and just popping her. Because even though she's on the back foot, that's the whole thing. You're in front of her. What she was doing wrong also was Jonas was moving around. Mikaela was trying to get her to move the way she wanted to. But what she was doing is when she would get ready to punch, she's always like she sets her feet. So she doesn't have that ability to move and then like just, bring the shot up and just shoot it out. She has to stop first and plant her feet. And all that just to throw a jab or a jab right straight, jab straight, right hand. And then when she was doing it and when Jones would move out the way and Mikaela would stop like that and throw that shot, it's like I'm waiting to see if Mikaela's going to get smart and realize, no, let me just keep the jab out here and move. And when she's going back, when she shift, you put that pressure, you come in. But with feints and head movement, she was just coming straight in. So they both was doing the same repetitive things over and over. And neither one of them was really showing too much ability to do anything different. Jonas started, like I said, stepping around more. At times I saw her step around, where as opposed to like most of the time she was going straight back and going to the ropes. But, I thought Jonas fought the smarter game plan. Like I said, I just feel like she should have took advantage more of what Mikaela Mayer wasn't doing. And I feel like Mikaela Mayer just fought the wrong game plan. And even though I felt like she lost the fight, I feel like Mikaela Mayer won. I said also I felt like she needed a knockout to win Jonas. I said, but I don't know how the judges are looking at it. And if they see this as being close, she might get the decision. I was right on talking to October Red. And that's the way it went. They saw it as a close, a split decision. So for that to be the case, I don't know. We'll just have to see what Mikaela does from here, what she looks like from here. And at the end of the day, You can't keep making the same mistakes over and over. There was a time where people were saying Anthony Joshua gets gassed. Oh, he's too big, he's too muscular. And then, they talk. And it's ways to do things. You have to learn in the gym. You have to learn your body. And you see AJ go the full 12 rounds with no problem. Everything that you learn, it doesn't guarantee a win every time, but then you see it pays off, and then you go through your ups and downs, and now you see him going to 12 rounds with no damn problem, right? So I think Mikaela Mayer definitely needs to work on her conditioning, and she needs to fight, and what would help her too if she fought more smart and worked behind the jab. She empties her tank too much unnecessarily. And I feel like, since she didn't learn from the first two fights, she need to learn. Like I said again, from round one, stay behind that jab, double, triple jab, movement, sidestepping. You understand? Not coming in here with this, I'm going to jab a little bit, wait around, fill you out, then just start banging with you. She doesn't have that kind of style or that kind of stamina. So when she does that, she causes herself to get hit more. And if she wasn't fighting that way, it would have been harder, more difficult for Jonas to land on the shots that she was landing, because she has to get past that long reach. But because Mikaela Mayer didn't fight discipline and don't stick to what she's doing, like we say, Anthony Joshua is a boxer puncher, but he's trying to be a boxer against Usyk. Mikaela Mayer, is a boxer, but she's trying to be a boxer puncher. And that's just not who she is. So, even though it worked against certain lesser fighters, you put yourself in a position where, yeah, I think she won. But it's not like it was a dominating performance from either woman. It was a solid fight, but it was a fight that Mikaela Mayer made harder for herself than what it needed to be. But salute to her. Salute to Natasha Jonas. And, it is what it is. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section, y'all. Do y'all think that Natasha Jonas won? Do y'all think it was a close fight and you okay with the decision? Or do y'all think it was a robbery? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hair to people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.